With a workforce exceeding 19,000 employees and more than 200 locations worldwide, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Agency is responsible for the nation's lawful immigration and for safeguarding its integrity through fair adjudication processes. Yemi Oshinnaiye is the agency's Deputy Chief Information Officer and brings to this position nearly 10 years of DHS IT management experience. This experience is complemented by another 10 years of private sector IT management experience. Recognized as an innovator and effective team builder, Mr. Oshinnaiye incorporates technology innovation and leadership to streamline and improve USCIS processes. He has a particular focus on moving USCIS processes to today's rapidly evolving digital world, to both increase efficiency and provide the data building blocks essential for analysis and planning. EDGE 2021 is pleased to welcome U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Deputy Chief Information Officer Yemi Oshinnaiye to the stage.
Go ahead. How's everybody doing today? I'm not going to be as loud as Jamie because I was out last night, so my voice is going to get hoarse if I try it. First and foremost, I want to thank Don Upson. I didn't know Don too well, but over the past couple months, I had the unique opportunity to kind of see him take this vision of what we have here, build a strategy out. He got a great team together, Mary, Shay, Sarah, and the whole team, and then he evangelized the heck out of it. He talked to people that would listen. He talked to a lot of people that wouldn't listen to him, and here we are. And this is great because we need it. We've been exchanging tons of information out here. We've been providing information and we're inspiring each other. So Don, wherever you're at, thank you. So to talk a little bit about, let's clap it up for Don. Thank you, Don. So the cool thing is I had CIO Jamie Holcomb, DCIO Beth Capello come before me, and I want you guys to pay attention. The DNA of a high-performing organization, we're going to say a lot of the same things. So I got to cut out 5 minutes of my speech. They helped me out. One of the things that DCIO Capello mentioned is transformation. What is it really? I mean, if you look it up on Wikipedia, it says that's a radical change, a thorough radical change. But if you take it from an IT perspective, the things that you see as a change are long, hard, and it's a journey for us. We talked about USCIS, and we made our transformation. We wanted to improve the way benefits were distributed, and we wanted to improve the user experience for the adjudicator. So that sounds easy enough, right? Let's go ahead and go transform. I'll get up on the stage, I'll make this speech, we'll go out tomorrow and I'll be transformed, right? That's how easy it is. But we knew there were a lot of things that we need to do. Very similar to how Don got us here. We had to have a vision. We had to have a vision that was shared from the director to the business executive to the then CIO. We had to understand that there are things we needed to do. We needed to change the user experience and enhance it for the customer. We needed to change the user experience and enhance it for the adjudicator so we can streamline and get benefits out. We provide one of the greatest things to people coming to this country, and that's citizenship. So in order to get that, we had to go on a listening tour. So part of that vision was taking the customer and putting them first, right? Then we had to share the vision. So in government, the challenge is, we got long processes, long conference calls, and sometimes sharing that vision takes getting the most important people in the room. That's doing executive committees, talking through it, believing in it, and saying when we walk out of this room together, we're all going to tell all our people the same thing so it cascades through the organization. So you caramelize that vision and you make it ready to go. Then you get a strategy. Same thing that Don did. He had a strategy. He's going to get us here in Las Vegas, hella high water, right? So our strategy was, if we're going to go ahead and change what we're doing to such an extent that we improve the user experience and we make our platforms scalable, extensible, and it'll pass the test of time, the strategy has to be customer first. So we define the customer as the external person, the applicant. We define the customer internal as the adjudicator and all our business partners. And the strategy, one of the biggest part of the strategy, of course strategy has a lot to it, but I can't tell you in 15 minutes, was focus on customer first. What that meant, and here's where I think, and it's coming from me, you can argue or disagree, here's where I think transformation comes from, is we had to change the way we worked. And I want that to sink in, because we have these talks, we have these panels, and we all say the same thing. Your communication, commitment, vision, strategy, strategic plan. But when you change the way people work, it is not easy. It is a journey, right? I tell a lot of stories, so bear with me. So what I do in my spare time, I'm a youth coach basketball, football, anything they tell me to coach, because I just love it, right? What I do when I first get a team is I put whatever sport it is, I go tell them to go play. And we watch them for a little while, and I watch them, we baseline. It was the same thing with us. We had to see where we were and baseline where the customer was. And what we found out was we deliver software, and we deliver some good software, but what happens is I get a requirement, I understand it, I build it, and I throw it over the fence. They say, oh, wow, I think you got it. Put it in production. And when it's in production, it wasn't it. And it failed. We put an emergency release out, still wasn't it. It failed. We did another release, it still wasn't it. It failed. It's a year later, and we don't even have what we're supposed to have. So to fundamentally change the way we do things, and again, this is the journey, right? This is 2012. I mean, we're talking eons ago. We said we need to go agile. And I'm not going into what agile is because everybody does it today, but the most important part of agile is I got a team of folks, because back in the day, remember, there's me in my position as executive. I have lines of people down to a PM who tells their team to develop and then comes back up and talks to the business owner to tell the team what the business owner said, and I might have gotten it right. But now we say, put the business owner in the team. That's the most important thing. And I think sometimes we talk about the fantastic thing about Agile, but that was part of our strategy, put the business owner in the team. The CIO at the time that was there did a funny thing. If you came in and you want to present a release and the business owner didn't do the talking, he kicked you out, right? So sticking to the vision, adhering to the strategy, customer first. Then you gotta have a team. You gotta pull people in. We had Keith Jones on the stage. Keith Jones was a huge part of our team. And yeah, he did just roll up on you every now and then. You never knew what to expect from him. It was like that, so it wasn't a lie. But it was good. It kept us on our toes. So we built a team. We started pulling people in from different places, and we built a team that, one, understood where we were trying to go. And some people that were where they had been where we're trying to go, right? So that team helped us help everyone else understand what we're trying to do, right? And then you evangelize the heck out of it, right? Here's where it gets tough, because when we were doing what we were doing, we were changing. Again, I haven't even talked about the benefit, the change we made, the transformation. It's about what we did differently to get the product out there. We had to go places that didn't believe in what we were doing. Everybody knows the process today of being a great process, but no one knows when they said, well, I guess you're violating the MD 102, or you're violating acquisition. It'll never work, it's just a buzzword. You guys just want to defy all processes. And we had to say, no, we're putting the customer first. The other part of the strategy was to be lean. And when I say lean, I mean really lean. Another thing that we used to do, if you came in to present and you had more documentation printed out than the code that you want to deliver, kicked you out too. Why build stacks of paper when no one's going to read them, instead of putting something out there that we can read real quickly? You tell us what you're going to do, and you go off and build. And you stay in connection with the product owner. You build and let them see what you build and let them see if it's right or wrong before it goes into production. So we evangelized. We did like Don did. We talked to people that would listen. We talked to a lot of people that wouldn't. But despite and in spite of things, we kept moving forward to make things work. This took a couple of years. Same thing with my team. Usually we have a couple games internally, and they look horrible. But the good thing about us and us all in this room and us watching this live is we're leaders. That's why we come to this conference. We're leaders and we share. We can see what they can't see. We can see their potential. And we take those teams and we say, okay, you go here, this is what your charge is, and this is what your responsibility is. And we bring those teams together. We gel them, and we put them in the right place so they can succeed. And we did the same thing at USCIS. One of the products, and I'll get to that, H-1B. H-1B, if you imagine it, and for those that aren't familiar with how we work, H-1B brings in those folks into the country on visas that, jobs that are not filled here that are important. During COVID, we needed nurses and doctors that brought them there. A lot of IT skill sets that we don't have in the country. And it was important because that helped. The other piece of benefit that we provide is for the farmers. The farmers actually help our supply chain. So you guys remember when the price of chicken and beef was going up because we didn't have enough laborers coming in and fruits and vegetables, we bring those folks in. So our job was to improve that process so we can bring more people in faster. We were able to do that easily because we already did the other stuff. We already had our vision. We already had a strategy. We already had an environment where the product owner was first, and we saw products. Jamie talked about products, so I don't have to talk about it again. We were in a product world, not a project world. So we can take products, and instead of you saying, I'm gonna fill out a form, the product is the portal. And I got my team updating the portal. The product is the account. Now I could communicate with the user efficiently and to get a better experience. So we delivered H-1B right before the pandemic. One day we're all in the war room, the next day we're all on Teams. Shout out to DHS because Deputy CIO Capello said we went from 10,000 to 70,000. Again, you hear that, but you don't understand that. We literally flipped the switch, jammed the internet connection with a whole load of it used to be about hundreds and thousands of paper on pallets into network bits and bytes. We were ready because a year before, we updated the VPN, right? We did that a year before. And that's why it's not transformation, because that was a journey. Nobody knew about COVID. Who knows about COVID? If you knew about COVID was coming, I got a job for you. Matter of fact, I'll partner with you. But we were ready because of that. Same thing with what we're doing, because we had the vision, because we had a strategy, because we had a team, because we evangelized, we're ready. And we'll continue to be ready, because what's not important is the technology. I mean, we're in the cloud now. I mean, we have natural language processing that works on our side. We have machine learning to support the operating environment, to support the systems, to take documents that come in, and I can see what the document is based on vectors in the document using machine learning. That's all cool. But we as an organization are ready for anything. And it's transformation in some degree, but we have embarked on a journey that will continue to be ready for anything new that comes. And that's why when we say digital transformation, what I think we're referring to is that really large culture change, that thing that just not one person can do, that I need other components, that I need DHS, that I need Department of State, that we can do together, but it's moving people forward into a new place. And if you ask what's coming up now for us, you've heard about security and data. That's the big thing. I've got Rob Brown in the back. He's our CTO. That position wasn't there before. That's a position we're investing in because we have to be ahead of the curve for innovation. We currently have our chief CDO, who wasn't around before. But again, data is important to cultivate and build AI and ML, so we're investing in that position. The most important thing to us is to be able to deliver a solid product to the customer externally and to the customer internally. And I'll share a personal bit, because I just saw I have 1 minute. I'm standing here today. I'm a first generation born American, child of an immigrant. If we don't do our job, I don't stand here. My wife at home, who's probably watching, she's a first generation born American, children of immigrants. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Bringing that together So we can, if you want to call it transformation, go, you can call it. But I'm going to tell you, it's solidifying that journey so we're ready for anything, so we deploy well, so we evolve with technology, and we evolve with business agility, we evolve with the customer, and we deliver that benefit so that more people like me can stand on this stage. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.